Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad-gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Chapter 14, Text 26. Please chant after me. Mahang chayo vyabhicharena bhakti-yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Translation. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse is a reply to Arjuna's third question. What is the means of attaining to the transcendental position? As explained before, the material world is acting under the spell of the modes of material nature. One should not be disturbed by the activities of the modes of nature. Instead of putting his consciousness into such activities, he may transfer his consciousness to Krishna activities. Krishna activities are known as bhakti-yoga, always acting for Krishna. This includes not only Krishna, but his different plenary expansions such as Rama and Narayana. He has innumerable expansions. One who is engaged in the service of any of the forms of Krishna or of his plenary expansions is considered to be transcendentally situated. One should also note that all the forms of Krishna are fully transcendental, blissful, full of knowledge and eternal. Such personalities of Godhead are omnipotent and omniscient, and they possess all transcendental qualities. So, if one engages himself in the service of Krishna or his plenary expansions with unfailing determination, although these modes of material nature are very difficult to overcome, one can overcome them easily. This has already been explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto Krishna at once surmounts the influence of the modes of material nature. To be in Krishna consciousness or devotional service means to acquire equality with Krishna. The Lord says that His nature is eternal, blissful and full of knowledge, and the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme, as gold particles are part of a gold mine. Thus the living entity in his spiritual position is as good as gold, as good as Krishna in quality. The difference of individuality continues, otherwise there would be no question of bhakti-yoga. Bhakti-yoga means that the Lord is there, the devotee is there, and the activity of exchange of love between the Lord and the devotee is there. Therefore, the individuality of two persons is present in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the individual person. Otherwise, there would be no meaning to bhakti-yoga. If one is not situated in the same transcendental position with the Lord, one cannot serve the Supreme Lord. To be a personal assistant to a king, one must acquire the qualifications. Thus, the qualification is to become Brahman, or freed from all material contamination. It is said in the Vedic literature, Brahmaiva san brahmapyeti. One can attain the Supreme Brahman by becoming Brahman. This means that one must qualitatively become one with Brahman. By attainment of Brahman, one does not lose his eternal Brahman identity as an individual soul. Mang chayo vyabhicharena bhakti-yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Tasmai Shri. Nama Shrishtam Manamapi Shachiputramatra Surupam Rupam Tasya Grajamorapuring Maturim Goshavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Ataf Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is a well-known verse of Bhagavad-gita, well-known for those of us who identify ourselves as followers of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada himself often quoted this verse. As with all teachings of the gurus, of Shastra, it has to be understood carefully and properly, because if we understand it carefully and properly, we can make progress toward the ultimate goal of life, pure love of Krishna. And if we don't, we're liable or likely to be diverted from the path. Now, here in this material world, in material consciousness, we find many people have an overly inflated concept of themselves. They think themselves to be much better than they actually are. So that's one kind of illusion, isn't it? Someone's very proud, thinks he's so great. And there are other people who have such a low opinion of themselves that they become completely depressed and unable to get any enthusiasm for doing anything. And some people are paranoid and think that everyone's against them. And then the attempt of the psychiatrists is to churn out for society normal people. What does that mean? Normal means able to function within society. Very difficult to exactly say what a normal person is, but someone who's able to work, to live and act in society more or less according to the norms that are considered proper by everyone. But or even if they are some kind of maverick, he doesn't do any harm to anyone. And if he can be a contributing member of society, doing something useful like repairing car tires or entertaining people on television or whatever people think is a contribution to society, so much the better. Better that they're not a parasite. So there's some idea of how one should have a balanced understanding of oneself and of others so as to fit properly into society, not living in a world of delusion. So Krishna consciousness, it's really meant for bringing us out of the world of delusion, of understanding who we are properly and where we fit in. Well, the news is that we don't really fit in this material world at all. So sometimes people think that devotees are crazy because they give up all their material prospects to live for the sake of something which to them is intangible. Devotees, they want to cross over the three modes of material nature and come to the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now here in this verse which we just read, it states that one can immediately, or does immediately, transcend the modes of material nature by serving Krishna in bhakti-yoga, bhakti-yogena sevate. There is an important qualifying word there, avibicharani. We know the word You all know the word vyabicha. You know that word vyabicha? It doesn't come in Tamil, I think. Does it come in Tamil? Not in day-to-day speech. It's quite common in Hindi, day-to-day speech. At least in Tamil it may not come. In Telugu, is it there? It's a common word. And it means improper behavior, especially sexual misconduct. Is it in Telugu also? Yeah. So here it means anything that is opposed to the principle of pure devotional service. So we can say avyabhicharani bhakti means without getting involved in meat eating, gambling, intoxication, illicit sex, anything that is contrary to the principle of anyabhilashita shunyam gyanakam adyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti rutama. Everything that is contradictory to the principle of pure devotional service to Krishna without any extraneous desire or endeavor. Now I was saying we have to understand everything properly to properly advance in devotional service. So there is sometimes, or among some devotees, a misunderstanding that, well, devotees are automatically transcendental. As soon as you start chanting Hare Krishna, you're automatically transcendental to everything in the world, and this misunderstanding causes a lot of problems. In one sense, one is on the transcendental platform as soon as one is in Krishna consciousness, but it's something like we hear the analogy given of crossing over the material ocean. So taking devotional service is something like getting on the boat. And it's a good boat. Hridayamadam sulabang sudur labam. The human form of the human body is a good boat for crossing the ocean of material existence. Plavan sukalpo guru karna dharam ayanukulyena nabhasvateritam puman bhavabdim nataret sa'atmaha. So we have a good boat, the human body, good boat for crossing the ocean of material existence. We have the favorable winds in the form of Krishna's instructions in Shastra. If we're very fortunate, we have a good captain, the guru who ably guides us. If despite all these advantages we fail to cross the ocean of material existence, then we are killing ourselves. So if we're on the boat and we just stay on the boat and we don't jump off the boat and we don't put ourselves in danger by standing on the deck when the boat is rocking in the storms so that we get washed off the boat, then we're going to cross over the ocean. But there are precautions to be taken because the ocean, it's a rough ocean. The material world is a rough ocean. And we can be swept overboard, or we could be just standing on the deck and just taken away by some giant eagles or something. I mean, we could collapse on the deck and have a stroke and then fall off the edge or something like that. In other words, we're on a good boat for crossing the ocean, but we haven't fully crossed the ocean. The boat is good. The process of devotional service is transcendental, but we may not be fully transcendental. In this regard, we have the instructions of Lord Kapila Dev in the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in which he talks of devotional service executed within the modes of nature, which immediately debunks the idea that, well, if someone is somehow or other connected with Krishna, he's fully transcendental. It can be mixed. Therefore we have mixed devotional service. The term karma mishra bhakti, bhakti that is mixed with desires and activities meant for enjoying this material world. Jnana mishra bhakti, devotional service that is mixed with desires and activities which the performer performs them with the aim of becoming liberated from this material world, and especially tending toward impersonal liberation. Yoga Mishra Bhakti. People who do yoga, they become attached to that process and not so much pleasing Krishna. So Krishna as Kapila speaks in the third canto. I'll read the verses with Srila Prabhupada's translation. This is from the 29th chapter of the third canto. Lord Kapila says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha bhakti-yoga bahuvidho margar bhamini bhavyate swabhava guna margena pungsam bhavo pungsam bhavo vibhidyate. O noble lady, there are multifarious paths of devotional service in terms of the different qualities of the executor. Abhisandaya yo hingsam dambham matsaryameva va samrambhi bhinna drigbhavam mai kuryat satamasaha. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry, and who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness, in the mode of ignorance. So performing devotional service, but still said to be in the mode of ignorance. Then next, Vishayana Bhisandhaya Yasha Aishvaryam Evava Archadav Archayedyo Mam Pritak Bhava Sarajasaha. The worship of the deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. Now this about being a separatist, Srila Prabhupada explains what that means in the purport to this verse. He says, the word separatist must be understood carefully. The Sanskrit words in this connection are bhinnadrik and pritag bhava. Pritag bhava. So bhinnadrik, you can understand what that means. Bhinna means different, and drik refers to sight. So Srila Prabhupada says, a separatist is one who sees, drik, his interest as separate, bhinna, from that of the Supreme Lord. Mixed devotees, or devotees in the modes of passion and ignorance, think that the interest of the Supreme Lord is supplying the orders of the devotee. The interest of such a devotee is to draw from the Lord as much as possible for their sense gratification. This is the separatist mentality. Then Kapila Dev explains devotional service in the mode of goodness. Karma nirharamudishya parasmin va tadarpanam yajedyashtavyam iti va pritag bhava sasatvikaha. When one worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offers the results of his activities in order to free himself from the inebrieties of fruitive activities, his devotion is in the mode of goodness. And then Kapila Dev describes the highest level of truly, fully transcendental devotional service. A very beautiful description. Madguna shruti matrena mai sarva guhashaye manogatir avvichinna yata gangam bhasom buddhau lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya hiudahritam ahaituk yavya vahita ya bhakti purushotame. The manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart, just as the water of the Ganga flows naturally down toward the ocean. Such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows toward the Supreme Lord. So, we should know what is our position. We shouldn't, in devotional service, we sometimes say the devotees overestimate their position. And they may be underestimating also when someone becomes very depressed. That, oh, I'm such a rascal. Which is true, we're all rascals in this material world. But we shouldn't think that I'm so bad that I'm impossible to be cured. We should always keep hope in Krishna and the Vaishnavas and the process of devotional service. Srila Prabhupada several times warned against the mentality of thinking that, well, I'm a devotee, so I'm beyond the modes of nature, I'm beyond Maya. Here's a quotation from Srila Prabhupada speaking at some length on this topic. Srila Prabhupada on a morning walk in Mayapur in 1976, he stated that for a devotee, one who is actually a pure devotee of Krishna, he is sagunan samatidhyaitan. He's beyond the three modes of material nature. Srila Prabhupada didn't translate it at this point. He understood that his disciples present, they all understood what that meant. So for a devotee who is actually a pure devotee of Krishna, he's transcended the three modes of material nature. But then Srila Prabhupada warned, not that a teeny devotee can claim that he has overcome the influence of this world. No. This is called Paramahamsa, Sagunan Samati Dhyaitan. So real Paramahamsa means one who's actually transcended the influence of the modes. Not that because you have taken to devotional service, you have become immediately. The process has begun immediately, the curing process. But we should not think that we have become perfect. Another example can be given. Someone has an illness and they go to the doctor, and the doctor says, okay, you take these pills and you follow this diet and you do this exercise. And then he comes out of the doctor's office and thinks, oh now I'm cured. But it's not. He's taking if he follows the process, he's cured. Hopefully, that's also not entirely sure, because ultimately everything's in the hands of Krishna. But if you think, I went to the doctor, okay, now everything okay. But he has to follow the instructions of the doctor and pray to Krishna to be cured. So the process has begun immediately, Srila Prabhupada said, the curing process. But we should not think that we have become perfect. That is wrong. Yagya dana tapak karma natyajam. Again, Srila Prabhupada didn't supply the translation. This is from Bhagavad-gita, in which Krishna says that sacrifice, charity and austerity should never be given up. And then Srila Prabhupada said, therefore you must follow the regulative principles. As soon as you become a rascal, I mean, someone can be in devotional service, but can become a rascal. And then Srila Prabhupada said, as soon as you become a rascal, now I have become advanced. I don't require to chant 16 rounds. I can do whatever I like. Then he has gone to hell. Upstart, immediately he becomes Paramahamsa. He's a rascal. In other words, someone thinks I'm advanced, I'm on the highest level, but actually he's a rascal. He was given the path of becoming a Paramahamsa. One is admitted in the school. That's another example. If you go to school, then he must learn, and one day he will become an MA. But simply by entering in the school, if he says, I am an MA, that is rascaldom. This is a chance. To become Jitendriya is a very difficult task. One who has conquered the senses, it's very difficult. But it is easy if he immediately becomes a pure devotee. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Everything makes zero, all desire except Krishna consciousness. So in this way we're also shunyavadis. Shunyavadi, we generally say that's a Buddhist, right? They think that everything is nothing, or whatever they think. It's very difficult to understand what they think. They don't even they're not very clear themselves about what they think. But there's some idea that nothingness pervades everything, or I don't know. Whatever, but we're also shunyavadi, because our idea in this way, anyabhilashita shunyam, we should make all our no material desires, zero material desires. The only desire should be for Krishna. That is wanted, Srila Prabhupada said. But that does not become very easily done. One has to try very rigidly, then he'll be a Paramahamsa. Therefore among the devotees there are three grades: Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. It should be clear, isn't it, that if there's, the terms are there. Kanishta Adhikari means novice devotee, Madhyama Adhikari, middle level devotee, Uttama Adhikari, topmost level devotee. That means it's not just that everyone's on the Paramahamsa platform. So Srila Prabhupada continued, so if the Kanishta Adhikari thinks that I have become an Uttama Adhikari, then has he become an Uttama Adhikari? Prabhupada says, no, he's a rascal. If he's a rascal, if he wants to imitate the Uttama Adhikari, then he's a rascal. Sabhakta Prakrita Smritaha. This is from the Bhagavatam, describing the devotee on the lowest level. The beginning is archana. And because he was given the chance of archana, deity worship, if he thinks that I have become a Paramahamsa, then he's foolish. It will take time. The process is there. Therefore, preaching is Madhyamadhikari. Preaching is for Madhyamadhikaris. One should take to preaching work gradually. Preachers, they've got discrimination. Here is an abhakta, a non-devotee. Here is a bhakta, devotee. But in the Paramahamsa stage, Uttamadhikari, he sees everyone is a devotee. I'm not a devotee. So that's the definition given in Bhagavatam. No? Sarva bhuteshu yah pashyad bhagavad bhavam atmanaha bhutani bhagavat yatman yesha bhagavato uttama. When one sees that everyone is full of love of Krishna, except me, that is a Paramahamsa. That is Uttamadhikari, Srila Prabhupada said. Just like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, Purisha kirta hoite muishe logishta. Sanatan goes, yeah, again, that means that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in his humility said that I am more insignificant than a worm in stool. Sanatan Goswami said that I am born in a low-grade family, my work is low-grade. Then, during another morning walk, again in Mayapur, I believe it's in Mayapur. Anyway, it's later in the same month. Srila Prabhupada addressed the phenomenon of so many of his disciples wanting to take sannyas, which Srila Prabhupada in many ways encouraged, saying that we should become detached from the material world. What is the use of this family entanglement? And he was giving sannyas, and sannyas brings with it prestige and recognition, and there were more and more devotees coming, asking for sannyas. Srila Prabhupada addressed this on another morning walk. And he was saying, don't take sannyas to cheat others. What did Srila Prabhupada say on this occasion? He said, a person who has no more desire of material enjoyment, he is fit for sannyas. Oh, not so easy, huh? No more desire for material enjoyment. That's already Paramahamsa level. Anyone who sees, oh, this car is very nice, this beautiful wife, very beautiful woman is very nice, he should not think of taking sannyas. Visha bhakshana dapya sadhu. Srila Prabhupada is quoting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that such desire is most abominable, more than taking poison. For someone who's supposed to have renounced this world, what's that verse? Nikinchanasya bhagavad Niskinchanasya bhagavad bhajanom mukasya parang jigamisho bhavasagarasya. Then, what's the next line? Bhavasagarasya Vishenam atayoshitam cha Ha hanta hanta vishabhakshana dapya sadhu. What's the third line? I just didn't get the atayoshitamscha. Sandarshanam vishaya vishayanam atayoshitamscha. Yeah, the verse is that for someone who is supposed to be renounced from this material world and is supposed to be fully engaged in pure devotional service to Krishna as a renunciant, to look upon the position of a materialist and think, oh, that's very nice. Or to see a beautiful woman and think, that's very nice. It's worse than drinking poison. So Srila Prabhupada said, to commit suicide by taking poison is a most abominable thing because he's going to be a ghost. He'll be punished to become a ghost, those who commit suicide. Or if one is suddenly killed and he has so many desires, he becomes a ghost. People who have a violent or sudden death, they often become a ghost. Therefore, vishabhakshana, taking poison and dying untimely, is most abominable. Or to commit suicide. By the material law also, to commit suicide is criminal. If you take sannyas, just like there are so many sannyasis for filling up the belly, because of course sannyas means it's said to be civil suicide. And the wife of a sannyasi is a widow. In Indian culture, she takes the role of a widow. There are so many sannyasis for filling up the belly. Wherever you go, they give some alms. But outside India, who cares for the sannyasi? So Srila Prabhupada is addressing devotees from the West. And in the West, no one cares about a sannyasi. In India, there's some respect. But in the West, at that time especially, people, they think it's something, just some kind of pantomime or something. It's just something absurd to dress in such clothing. But in the West, outside India, who cares for the sannyasi? Then why should you be eager to take sannyas and cheat yourself? You cannot cheat others, but you can cheat yourself. So it may be that someone, others can see he's not fit, but he say, oh yeah, I'm very advanced. So I do not know why our disciples are so anxious to take sannyas, at least those who are outside India, he means. In India, there's an advantage to accepting sannyas for the sake of preaching, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas for the same very reason. Everyone comes, give me sannyas. What is the idea? What is the use of taking sannyas and cheating yourself? So our only chance to be transcendentally situated is to follow one who is transcendentally situated. Yes. No, sorry, this is finished. Srila Prabhupada, what he said. Why he's saying, why take sannyas and cheat yourself? Of course, in the Western countries, devotees may take sannyas as a vow to fix them in their commitment to preach. It also gives prestige in the Vaishnava society, which can be useful for preaching if you want to mobilize devotees for preaching activities. But by taking sannyas, one should enhance one's preaching activities. So we can be transcendently situated. We are transcendently situated, but we have to follow those who are transcendently situated. We have to follow Srila Prabhupada and his followers who are following in this mood of pure devotional service. And then our activities can be considered spiritualized. We've all had that term used by Srila Prabhupada, spiritualized, and he gave the example of the iron rod put in the fire. This is actually from the Upanishads. And it soon becomes so hot that it acts just like fire. If you touch fire to someone's skin, it will burn them. Or if you put fire to paper, it will burn. Similarly, if you put a hot iron rod to someone's skin, it will burn them. or to paper, the paper will start to burn. So it acquires the quality of fire by being in touch with fire. It takes a little time, it's not immediate. But by being fully in Krishna consciousness, we can become fully Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada in this regard had written much earlier in 1969, in a letter he wrote that it is a fact that when one is in contact with Krishna, his name, his qualities, his form, his pastimes, immediately one becomes purified. But because we are conscious living entities, the proportion depends on our conscious acceptance. Now this is a very important point. Of course, when we're chanting Hare Krishna, that's transcendental. Of course, when we're taking prasadam, that's transcendental, because Krishna is transcendental. But Srila Prabhupada says how much we become purified, or how much we're on the transcendental platform, depends on the level of our conscious acceptance. So there is a difference between a Paramahamsa, Mahabhagavat top devotee chanting Hare Krishna, and just someone on the street chanting Hare Krishna in fun, which is good for them also, or a neophyte devotee chanting Hare Krishna. There is a difference. The proportion depends on our conscious acceptance. It is stated in the Bhagavad-gita that Lord Krishna responds proportionately to the service of the devotee. Another example is that the sunlight is open for everyone and for every place, but to enjoy sunlight depends on the proportionate arrangement by the receiver. Prosecution of devotional service means gradual purification and proportionate revelation of Krishna consciousness. So this word gradual, often used by Srila Prabhupada. Shanaya Shanaya Ruparatam Buddha, the Dritya, which comes first? Dritya? Which I always get mixed up. Which comes first? Dritya or Buddha? Buddha Driti Grihitaya. Yeah. Shanai Shanai Ruparamed Buddha Driti Grihitaya. Gradually one should make progress with intelligence and determination. Gradually. Shanai Shanai. Step by step. We have also that verse, Sadhakana Mayang Premna Pradurbrave Bhavet Kramaha. Gradually, step by step. Ado Shadha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tapajana Kriya Tato Narta Nevriti Set Tato Nishta Ruchistata Ato Bhava Tata Ruchisato Bhava Ato Prema Bhudanchati Sadhakanam Ayang Premna Pradurbrave Bhavet Kramaha. Bhavet Kramaha. Kramaha means step. So step by step. First of all, there is faith, initial faith, adho, shraddha, then sadhu, sangha, associating with devotees, bhajana kriya, taking up the activities of devotional service, anatta nivritti, becoming purified from the unwanted things in the heart that obstruct devotional service, then nishtha, becoming very solid in Krishna consciousness, ruchi, then taste in devotional service, then bhava, ecstatic devotional service, and then praying for love of Krishna. Step by step, gradual process. We hear in Chaitanya Charitamrita of devotees instantly becoming filled with prema just by coming in contact with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or even some of his devotees like Nakul Brahmachari. And there are many cases also of people who just came in contact with devotional service. They just saw devotees for the first time. This is especially in the 1960s and 1970s, and just on the spot their lives changed and they left everything. But then when they joined, and they still found that they have so many things to learn and so many anarthas to overcome. So it may be that initially one gives oneself to Krishna, but then still there's so many unwanted things in the heart, so many misconceptions, so many material attachments, so many impurities which have to be overcome. So the desire may be there and the feeling may be there to fully give oneself to Krishna, but we have to be realistic about the impurities in our hearts and gradually make progress to come to the perfectional stage. It's not that the modes of material nature just stop instantly. Another example Srila Prabhupada often gave: the fan is running at full speed. Switch it off, it's off. But the effect is still there. The lingering effect of its movement is there. So if we remain in devotional service, then gradually it will go slower and slower and slower and stop. But then if we switch it on again, even at low speed, then it will continue going. So the influence of the modes of nature do not stop immediately. And in the case of the three kinds of performers in the modes of nature, well, it means they've actually internalized a whole attitude of non-pure devotional service. They're stuck at that level. Abhisandaya to him, someone who is a schemer, who's envious of others, he's in the mode of ignorance. He's practicing devotional service, but it's not a very pleasant personality. He's using the facilities of devotional service for his own material situation, and he thinks that he has some position. He thinks it's my entitlement, and it's the temple. It's my temple, and these devotees serving under me, they're almost like employees. He may see them. So, if that attitude becomes internalized, then it's not pure devotional service, and it's not going to turn into pure devotional service either. So we have to be very, very careful that after many lifetimes we've come to pure devotional service. We maybe even have been practicing devotional service prior to this, just like our house owner here is very fortunate. He has some feeling for Krishna and chanting songs of Krishna. But he has, in this lifetime, to come to the platform of understanding what is pure devotional service. As Srila Prabhupada prominently in the recent times, Srila Prabhupada has taught, and others have taught also. So we have to see realistically where everyone is at, and not cheat ourselves by thinking that we're on a higher platform than we actually are, or by also another kind of impurity can come by ascribing to others a level of purity that they're not on, because we want to be generous in our heart and we want to see others as pure devotees, but we're told to see through Shastra. If we see that people are, we say, oh, he's pure devotee, but then actually we see, well, if we see through the eye of Shastra, well, maybe not. If he regularly does things which are not in the line of pure devotional service, then there's a very good chance that he's actually not on the full platform of devotional service. So Krishna consciousness is scientific, Srila Prabhupada said. You just see by the symptoms. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, when we're actually full of transcendental bliss, which is avyabhicharani. It doesn't stop. When the kirtan mela is over, we don't go home and put on the TV again. Or we don't develop inordinate attachment to dogs. There's so many ways in which we can deviate from pure devotional service. So it may be that we're feeling some kind of ecstasy in kirtan, or we have darshan of the deities and we feel some kind of ecstasy. We think, oh, now I'm a pure devotee. Well, we're lucky to get that mercy, but we have to see if that sustains over the hours and days and weeks and months and years. And it's not that we can sometimes be a Paramahamsa and sometimes be a materialist. That's not pure devotional service. So everything should be understood through the basis of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And this Bhagavad-gita is the essence of all spiritual knowledge. And we have from the Bhagavatam and from the teachings of the great acharyas which are in line with Bhagavatam, further understanding, clarification, fine points of understanding of everything that is taught in Bhagavad-gita. Mang chayo vyabhicharena bhakti-yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Parivadatu jano yatha tata va nano mokharo navayang vicharayamaha. Hari rasamadira madati matta bhuvi vilutama narthama nirvishama vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyavacha padidana.